Hello, it is another video. This is going to be a fun little vlog, I guess. So if you didn't know, I moved to Texas. It's been a lot, but the other day I went to the local library. The other day from here, it's going to be possibly a month from the time you watch this. I got myself a library card, and I'm going to go there often because I am still working on my last class for my master's. I don't know what I'm going to do after my master's, but I do still want to go to the library because it has like a cool vibe. So I looked up different events and even some book clubs, and that's what this video is about. I decided to join a book club that was at the library. This particular book club meets virtually, but it is called something about robots. The Robot Overlords Book Club, and this book club focuses on science fiction, fantasy, just fiction, and for each month they just give a theme and then a list of books that fit that theme, and you can read one or as many of those books as you want, and then you meet up, once a month to talk about those books of whatever theme. And so for September, the month of September, the theme is cozy fantasy. And when I was going through the list of books, I owned 4 of the books, and I've read one of them. So let's go through them. So the book that I have read that is in the Cozy Fantasies list is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And I don't own, Bookshops and Bone Dust, the prequel book to this that he wrote, but I may get that one. That one wasn't on the list. Sequels weren't. But I did really like this one, but I'm on a buying ban, so potentially I will either ask for it for Christmas from a family member, or I will get it for myself after Christmas with my Barnes & Noble points, because my family uses my account. But this is the book that I have read so far, so even if I don't get through the other ones that I want to read, I have read one book that I can talk about in that book club, because I don't know how many people are going to be there. The first book on the list that I have not read, I actually got very recently because it was a birthday gift from a friend of mine who lives down here in Texas and gave it to me when I got down here, and that is I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons by Peter S. Beagle. This is the author of The Last Unicorn, which is like one of my all-time favorite movies, and I just recently read it, I think last year. Yeah, last year I finally read the book, and this is like a new book that he put out, and so my friend bought it for me. And like, look at the end papers. So pretty. But so this is on that list, so I definitely want to try and get to this. I don't think it's going to be the first one I read in this vlog, but I definitely want to try and get to this one. Next one that I have not read is Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and this is by Rebecca Thorne. It is the Tomes and Tea Book 1. I actually bought this as a gift to myself. I don't remember when, but I was at Walmart and I found this pretty edition with the blue sprayed edges. I had seen this book online. It's a cozy fantasy, it's queer, and it's somewhat similar to Legends and Lattes, where there were fighters in a fantasy world, and then they open up a bookshop tea cafe together, and it sounds really cute. And the fact that it's apparently going to be a series, so if I like it enough, then I will read more of it. But I definitely want to try and get to this one, because at the time of recording this, it is almost the end of August, and book club meets like the middle of September. So I've basically got 2 weeks to finish my current read, because I don't like reading multiple books at once, finish my current read, and then start on these ones. And then the next one, or sort of next two, is the first book in a series and the sequel. Like I said, there's no sequels on this, the reading list, but the book is A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, and I do own this one, and I also own the sequel, which is A Prayer for the Crowned Shy. And these ones are really short, so I'm going to pick these ones up first once I finish my current read, which is which is Harold the Ninth, and then I will just read Nona after all of these. So I can finish that series. But I'm going to read these two. They're from the Monk and Robot series. I'm going to read these ones first for that because I've always heard such good things about these books, that they're emotional, they're like beautiful, and I've heard good things about Becky Chambers. I have another Becky Chambers book somewhere down in my wrapped books. I think it's A Way to a Small Angry Planet. I know Small Angry Planet's in the title. I don't remember the full title. But yeah, so I'm going to be reading these books. I hope you enjoy following me on this journey of vlogging for this book club. I did join another one that my friend who got me, I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons. I mentioned to her that this book was part of this book club, and she went, do you want to join another one? And brought me into a part of her book club with her friends where we read queer books. I don't own the book that they're reading this month, and I don't know if the library will have it. I am going back there soon, so I can see if I can find that book before that book club. So I've got a decent amount of books that I need to read in a short amount of time. But I hope you enjoy this video and coming along with me while I read these books and attend my first ever book club meeting. So I have made the decision. Luke is here. Hi, honey. I made the decision I'm going to not DNF, but just pause my reading of Harrow the Ninth for right now. So that way I can kind of focus on the books for both of my book clubs. So I have finished A Psalm for the Wild Built. As of recording this, I finished this book yesterday, as of this recording. But by the time you read it, I would have finished it a while ago. But I really liked it. I know a lot of people, like, I was seeing a lot of reviews of people who read this book and they were like crying afterwards. And I wasn't crying. I don't know if it was just my understanding of the book just didn't bring out that reaction for me. I don't know. But I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun kind of way to have like a little bit of like science fiction fantasy like all wrapped up into one, because like with the technology that they use and the robots, that gave me a science fiction vibe. But then, you know, with the way that they do everything, you know, it is labeled as, or at least for this book club that I'm doing, it's labeled as a cozy fantasy. So I really liked it. I thought it was a fun, quick little read, and I have not officially started this because I'm also reading a book on anxiety right now. So maybe that's why I didn't have as big a reaction. Maybe. I don't know, because I'm going through things. But I am going to start A Prayer for the Crowned Shy. Once I finish that book, I have like 14 pages left as of this recording. So I will be starting this one tonight. And then last time I went to the library, I just decided to look in the romance section because my other book club, the book that we are reading, is called Late Bloomer. So I found it at the library because it came out this year. I honestly don't know much about it. So I don't know. We'll see if I can also get to this one. After A Prayer for the Crowned Shy, I might read Late Bloomer before going on to the next two cozy fantasies, just because this club is going to meet before the other one. So it would give me a few more days to read the other cozy fantasies, so we'll see what happens. But I'm at least excited that I found the book, because with my buying ban, I didn't want to go out and just buy a book, and also I don't even know if I'm gonna like it. So it's helping me learn. Now I'm gonna go finish that book on anxiety, which I will talk about in my reading wrap up for what is it, July through September. We'll talk about that one there. And then I will catch you guys up while I'm reading and doing stuff for these book clubs, because I do have like a week and a half before the first one meets. So I've got a good amount of time still. I just knew if I wanted to finish Harrow first, I wouldn't get any of these books done. So we had to pause it. What is wrong? I luckily have my son here. But he's here. He snuggles with me while I read, so that's good. I'm stalling. let's go read. So as of recording this, Late Bloomer, what is their publisher's name? It is St. Martin's Griffin. So it is a publishing house under St. Martin's Press. At the time of recording this, St. Martin's Press is and is not the subject of a boycott. The Readers for Accountability had been doing a lot of behind the scenes work, and after a vote of everyone, I think it was like 60 volunteers, maybe more, within the Discord server, based off of St. Martin's Press' most recent statement regarding the boycott, they voted to end it. But there are a lot of other creators that aren't. There's a lot of controversy that I've seen, so I'm not sure. I may not talk about this book anymore in this video unless the boycott has like officially been, like, creators, RFA have officially declared that the boycott is over. But we will see if I continue moving forward with talking about this book. I have finished the Monk and Robot series, or at least what is out so far. With the way that this one ended, I'm hoping Becky Chambers writes another one. I loved this one more than this one, but I love them both a lot. I didn't cry, but I laughed. I was smiling, so I'm assuming all of those tears that I saw other people have were happy tears. Or at least I'm hoping they were. But I really liked these books. I thought it was a fun little story about, you know, a monk and a robot, but just kind of learning more about each other and about themselves and the world that they live in. And this book gave me a little bit of an existential crisis, but it was fine at the same time. I forget, what was the quote? How odd, then, to be able to return to the place that would always be anchored in your notion of the past. How could this place still be there if the you that once lived there no longer existed? I read that part and it just made me think of how I have moved to a completely different state, and that when I go home, I'm going to be a completely different person, you know, with new memories to share with my friends and family. And when I go home, it's just going to be for a visit. So that's really funny that this book would say something like that. But it felt, while it was like existential crisis-y a little bit, it felt comforting to see kind of those words and the same feelings that I've been having written out, you know, in words that I could read it and have somebody else sort of like explain that sensation. So I didn't have to. Maybe I should bring that quote to my therapist. What do you guys think? I might. Out of the books here, not Nona. Nona's not part of the book clubs, but we love her. We still have Can't Spell Treason Without T, and I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons. So I'm not going to pick up either of those right now, just because my second book club, that one meets first, and I haven't even started on that book, Late Bloomer. So I'm going to get started on this book now to see, you know, whether I even like it or not, too. I will get back to you on how I feel about this book. Maybe I'll do an actual reading vlog where I tell you how I feel halfway through, instead of just, I'm starting this one and then I've ended this one. Because I feel like all of my reading vlogs are like that, because when I read, I don't remember to record. I was able to finish Late Bloomer. I took my sweet time with it. Today is the book club for Late Bloomer, so I was cramming in as much as I could read during work, after work, before work, and because I was stressing, I didn't record me reading any of it. Whoops. I got this from the library, so I have to return it this weekend, which is a good thing that I'm already planning on going to the library. I can talk about this book a little bit to kind of go off with the boycott of St. Martin's Press. From what I've seen, the boycott has ended. I'm not gonna make a big deal about publishers or like specifically name out publishers and stuff. That's not how I read books. I liked this book. It wasn't like my favorite romance I've ever read. I think while I loved, you know, the characters of Opal and Pepper and their journey and how there was kind of a third act breakup, but not really. So they got into a fight and then apparently just didn't talk for 2 days. And they both cried separately and then came back. So it wasn't even really a breakup. So I liked that aspect, that it wasn't like a full-on third act breakup. But I think one thing that kind of threw me with this book and kind of like hampered my enjoyment of it was Opal's physique. And so you can see, like, from this cover, you can't really see a lot of her. You can see, you know, her arm in comparison to Pepper's, the jaw lines, stuff like that. And this may sound weird, but I am plus size. I just couldn't tell if Opal was supposed to be plus size or maybe mid-size. And it just felt weird that there was this sort of like beat around the bush language about it, where it was like her round hips or her plush hips, round, curved. Like it was like always saying like round and curved, and I felt that was like beating around the bush. Of like, yeah, she could be plus size if you want her to be in your head, but it's like, no, if she's plus size, I want you to tell me she's plus size so that way I can even more connect to the character. Because I very much connected with Opal in different ways, more than Pepper. But there was just that like disconnect for me, and I think maybe it was just me that felt that way because I just didn't know. So I didn't know how to like picture her in my head. So it just took away from some of the scenes. At least to me. I don't know. If anybody else read it, did you get that same feeling, or am I just off? If I knew she was plus size, like specifically, and like it didn't have to be a focal point of the book, because a lot of the other romances I've read, it's not a focal point. It's just like the character's like, yeah, I'm this size, whatever. I feel like it maybe would have helped my enjoyment a little bit, knowing that the character, like what size the character was, whether she was plus size or not. Because I just had a constant thought of it in my head at all times. The book club for Late Bloomer is tonight. My friend who invited me into the book club is going to pick me up tonight and bring me. I decided to wear this shirt that I have. I call it like my orange cow print, because while it's not exactly cow print, it's the closest thing I own to cow print. And I like the shirt. I like the way it sits on me, and I like the way it sways when I walk. That's also why I have orange lipstick on. You can see how bright it is with the filters I have on my camera. I am excited about that. So let's go. Hi. Oh, you're so zoomed in. Hold on. This is far because I'm not taking off my neck strap. I am walking along the street, but I'm walking to the library. I didn't film anything, take any photos while I was at my other book club, the Reading Rainbows one, where we talked about Late Bloomer. But it was fun. I liked seeing everybody. I'm going to talk more in a clip when I'm back in my house. But right now, I am walking to the local library very early to focus on homework. I've got water. Oh, you can't see it. I have water. Again, I'm not taking off this neck strap. This camera was so much money. But I'm going to the library to do some homework. I haven't decided if I'm going to stay at the library and like rent out one of their like private study rooms to do the book club, or go home, like leave the library before the book club starts so I can do it at home. Haven't decided on that yet. But yeah, I'm a walking and I'm excited. There's a yogurt place near the library. I'm thinking of stopping there when I'm done. My arm hurts, so I'm gonna stop this part of the vlog. Hi. So a few days later from going to the library, actually like a week later, the day after my friend came to visit, so I've just been with her and I didn't have time to film this like ending clip, but I had the book club for the library, the Robot Overlords book club, and I wasn't able to reserve a room, like a quiet study room in the library, because if I had been in one of those rooms, I would have been more comfortable like speaking during the meeting. But because I wasn't able to get one of those rooms and I was just sitting in the library, I didn't go home in time. And because I was working on homework and other things, I was present in the meeting. I just wasn't using my mic. I was using the chat. So next one in October, I will be making sure to stay home that day. But it was really fun. I liked it how none of us read the same books. Really, like some of us had the same books, whether it was for this club or like earlier in the year, things like that. And just listening to all the different books that people talked about. Because I guess I had read it wrong. You didn't have to pick a book that was in that like list of 10 that they gave. You just had to pick something that fit the topic, and those books were just like recommendations, or like these books fit the topic, so find books like these. Which is good because the next one is closer, I would say maybe to like horror thriller, which is Dangerous Tourist Attraction, which I don't read a lot of horror thriller books. They're just not my genre. At least right now I do want to get, into them. I have some books like that, but I had a book that fit the theme for October. I'll get into that in a second, but it was really fun, that club. It was small, and we just kind of talked about the books that we read and what we liked about them, what we didn't like, and then the organizer sent a link to suggest 6 themes for 2025. So I put some suggestions in there. So excited to see what comes about. I know that the themes for November and December are already set, and I forget what they are. So November is noir or hard-boiled detective, which I know for a fact I don't have anything like that. Or I'm pretty sure I don't have anything like that, so we'll have to see what some of the recommendations are, and I'll probably have to borrow one of those or take one of those books out from the library. And then December is also a movie or TV series, which, I mean, I have books like that, but maybe I'll see if there's any in my unread. Instead of like picking one that could be a reread, I will see if there's any in my unread books that is also a movie or a TV series. Maybe that's like older, that I either haven't seen the movie or the TV series, something like that. So we'll see. But the setup for it, I thought, was really cool. Everyone we kind of bounced back and forth, between people. And it was, how we did it is somebody would talk about a book and then they'd say, oh, well, speaking of this in your book, I had that in my book as well, and talked about their book. And then somebody else would be like, oh, I had that in my book. So it's a very nice transition of how to get to everybody in the hour, like allotted time that we had. And afterwards we could kind of just talk about anything and everything if everybody went. So I liked it. I'm excited to go again next month and see who is there again, because I and one other person were both new, or I think me and 2 other people were new to the book club, and everybody else had, already been there a few times. I have no idea how long this book club has been going. And so I'm excited to go again and, maybe get to know these people a little bit more, maybe make new friends. That will be with the next book. So for Dangerous Tourist Attractions, they said it could be, carnival, traveling carnival, amusement park and cruise, things like that. So I had a book that I actually bought at the end of last year. It was part of my holiday haul that I got using my points at Barnes & Noble, but it is The Stowaway, and this is by James S. Murray and Darren Wearmouth. So right as they said that, in tourist attraction, I didn't think cruise at first. I was thinking like Grand Canyon, you know, like tourist attraction stuff, but then they're like, no, like something that would bring a tourist. Anything can be a tourist attraction. So they said cruise counted, carnivals counted. So I grabbed this one, and then we haven't picked a book for the Rainbows Book Club. So once we pick that, I will be able to start reading that book as well. But I think joining this book club was a really good decision for me. So I'm very happy that I did it. And I'm excited to see, you know, what other books that I read that maybe I wouldn't have, as well as, you know, continuing to tackle my TBR and figure out how I want to revamp that as well for the next year, because I don't think I want to do the dice next year. I'm thinking maybe I want to do paper in a jar and pull it out. So we'll see. That's a whole nother video. If there are any book clubs in your area at your local library, or if you want to start one up, I highly recommend doing it. You know, do it with people that you care about, you know, if you do it in person. And, you know, check out your local library or city hall recreational centers in your area. See if they have any book clubs that are either in person or virtual. If you're looking to, you know, just at least meet new people, which is kind of one of the reasons I wanted to do this. So I highly recommend at least looking into it, seeing if it's something you're interested in, you know, attend one meeting, and if it's not for you, then that's okay. But let me know if you've done a book club before, or if you do pick one up because of this vlog, and I will see you guys in another new video soon. A bientôt!